Yes. They have stronger backgrounds than me. Absolutely.
They're better at networking and selling themselves?
Oh, don't you hate it when they're better at networking than we are? Yes.
They started at a younger age.
They started at a younger age, yeah. They're 19 and can do backflips. I'm 49, I can't do backflips. Yes.
They work all the time, don't procrastinate.
They don't procrastinate. And you'll notice in that one, there's that hidden self thing, like, they don't procrastinate. I do.
They pick people or people's work they already know, or their best friend knows, so it's like a click rule.
Yeah, they succeed because they're part of the in crowd. And I'm not.
They have more self-confidence.
They have more self-confidence. Yeah.
They have deeper pockets.
They have deeper pockets. That's right. You know, money is good for certain things, and some of it is buying solutions to problems.
They don't have
They don't have children. Okay. All I'm saying is, you have got the best guilt trip to put on your kids. When they blame you for their problems, you can look at them and say, you want to know what I gave up for you? I'm just saying. So, you know, the universe taketh away, the universe also giveth. Yes.
They have a New York address.
They have a New York address. Okay, I'm going to step into get it done by mode for a moment here. You can tell me get it done by mode because I'm on a different part of the stage. The U.S. Post Office has this new thing where if you get a post office box, you can fill out a special form and use it as a street address. So if you want to have a New York street address, go to a New York post office, rent a P.O. box, and fill out that form. And then, like my street address is 1953 Mass Ave, Suite 158. That's Post Office Box 158 on Porter Square. But no one else needs to know that. So, just a hint. They have a New York street address, what am I going to do? I wish I had some idea. Anyone else? Yes?
They suck up.
They suck up. I'm too proud for that. This is one of the things I actually figured out fairly early on in my career. I'm like, pride gets in the way of so many things. And I'm just like, I'm going to dispense with that. If what it takes is sleeping my way to the top, fine. I'll sleep my way to the top, and then I'll spend all the money that I made once I'm at the top on therapy to help me get over the trauma. That's the thing I don't understand, is all of these really, really messed up, people who get paid, $20 million a film, or, the Steven Spielbergs who, are sitting on top of $50 billion worth of royalties, and they're all messed up. I'm like, you've got money, you can afford a therapist. No, deal. Hire me as your life coach. Trust me, I won't let you get away with more of that porny business. Okay, anyone else? One more. Yes?
More marketable. They're more marketable.
They're more marketable. And isn't that the suckiest of them all? Right? Like, if you've got those leading man looks, you can get a leading man role. And if you don't, you probably can't, and it's that simple. I went to a thing that Paul Daniel did about speakeasy recently, and one of the questions from the audience was, tell us how you make your casting decisions. And he said, well, 70% of it is do they look right for the part? And then the other 30% is the talent part. And if 70% of it is do they look right for the part, you need to look like the part. And, if I have a friend, he has unbelievable leading man looks. If you looked at him walking down the street and said, what does he do? You would say, oh my God, he's a leading man. Except for the fact that he's 5'2". So he looks like the perfect leading man. Mini leading man. Hi! I'm Tom Cruise. I'm Mini Tom Cruise. Mission Impossible 4. So he ends up playing the jock kid brother a lot. But yeah, boy, I hate it when I'm marketable and I'm not. These are the excuses that we use and the dimensions along which we compare ourselves with other people. And if you notice, if you look at those excuses, especially if they're ones that you use many times, then those are telling you, among other things, either what to work on. If you're not marketable, you want to be more marketable, go find an image consultant, see if there's anything you can do. But at the end of the day, they really are just excuses. These are the things that your brain says to yourself to explain what happened, and it may be right and it may be wrong. And you'll notice that we had a wide variety of excuses, presumably for the same kinds of situations, since we're all in related professions. And they're just narratives. So next time you don't get what you want, instead of thinking I'm not marketable, think they're younger than I am. Because that's an excuse that worked for someone else here, right? So you may as well try it, because what the heck? Maybe that excuse will work better for you. These are just the stories that we tell to explain. If you look carefully at your stories, you will discover they fall into two categories. And if you want to flip the page, this is our next. There's one category we'll call owners. The other we'll call victims. Now, I don't mean owner and victim in the sense of I'm a capitalist, I own a house, I am a victim. I was crushed by a giant truck when it fell over. This is owners or victims of your daily experience. Now, this can be different in different areas of your life. But the question is, do you perceive yourself as owning your experience and having control over it? Or do you perceive yourself as being the victim of things that are happening from the outside? The problem with having a victim mindset is that you don't actually do very much. Because a victim mindset says there's nothing I can do. Now, remember, this is about your narrative. This is not about the truth. In truth, you don't know what you can do and what you can't do. In truth, when George Lucas made Star Wars, he was making a mega hit. But if you listen to interviews where he talks about what they were thinking at the time, he didn't think it was going to be a mega hit. He thought it was going to be, this little space opera that he created, and that was that. Just because you have an explanation doesn't mean it's true. If you have victim explanations, it doesn't mean you're actually a victim in that situation. If you have owner explanations, it doesn't actually mean that you were in control in that situation. It just means you're explaining the universe in a way that has a different impact on you. What I'd like to do is to find a partner who you can turn and talk to, so probably somebody close to you. And I'm going to ask you to spend about 2 minutes. We'll do 2 minutes on, no, we're going to do 3 minutes, because 3 minutes is going to be really uncomfortable. We're going to spend 3 minutes. What I want you to do is, first, before we split into pairs, I want you to think of a specific incident where just something horrible happened. You really didn't get what you want, or something was a flop, or you got a bad review, or your company went under, or just something that was just like, oh my gosh, the universe. I finally got that unicorn, and it turned out that the horn was fake. Have you ever tried to clean up after a fake unicorn in the garden? Unicorns may shit rainbows, but horses don't. So I want you to spend. So first of all, think of one of those cases where you got the horse instead of the unicorn. And I'm going to ask you to spend. Actually, we'll do 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And I want you to tell the other person that story. And I want you, since you're all professional storytellers, I want you to make that the sobbest, saddest, most victimized story ever. If that clerk gave you the wrong change at 7-Eleven, it's because they hated you. And they're following you and looking for ways to make your life miserable. And the fact that you had a flat tire in your car is because they probably let the air out. I want you to really just let your inner victim out and just really tell that story for 2 minutes. All that the listener can do is look at you sympathetically and go, oh, really? oh, why? And B, and other, the sort of sympathetic things that you would normally say to a friend who's explaining to you, how horrible it is to be retired at the age of 45 because you can't figure out what to do with your time. 2 minutes, and then switch, and the other person gets to tell their victim story for 2 minutes. And I will tell you when to switch. Find yourself a partner.